Yeah, it's just another year where the Dodgers don't get it on, and again, it's the same thing as last year, where the Phillies take on this upstart National League West team, and then the Astros make it again, the 7th straight year they're in the ALCS, which is awesome, cool. But I called it, didn't I call it?
You did call
All
it.
Texas ALCS. I called that. I'm so proud of myself for that.
You called that a while ago too.
I did. It was like 2 months.
This man did call that a while ago.
Now, to be fair, Texas did go on a slide in September to the point where we wondered if they might even make the playoffs. Yeah. But Astros beat the Twins. Rangers just flamed out the Orioles. Texas is on a tear these playoffs.
I'm glad you mentioned flamed out the Orioles. I think the Baltimore Orioles are a very good baseball team.
I do too.
I think it comes down to one of two things. Mm-hmm. Were they young?
Yep.
What was the difference between the Orioles this year and the Guardians last year? Guardians being the youngest team in baseball last year, making the playoffs, winning the wild card round. Manager, right? Terry Francona's been there, done that, won 2 World Series. He kind of, and this is not a shot at, I don't even know who the heck. Brandon Hyde. This is not a shot at Hyde. You had one guy who's been there. You've had one guy who's experienced the highs, the lows of everything about playoff baseball. Hyde, not so much. Orioles are going to be fine. I know it sucks. You don't want to see it, Mitch. It's hilarious too, because I know you and I can both do this, and we can go in and look and search, Facebook pages and Twitter pages of, Baltimore Orioles fans, and one guy saying, wow, thanks for winning the division, for you to hurt us like this, never win the division again. Like, okay, calm down, first off. Mm-hmm. Okay, gave you guys a great season. We kind of expected Baltimore to be good. I don't think we expect them to be as good as they showed us this year. This is a team that's going to be really good for the next 5-6 years, okay?
Probably,
Baltimore typically doesn't spend the money, but they have so many pieces, they're going to have to spend the money. You cannot let somebody like Adley Rutschman, who's going to be one of the top 3 catchers in baseball, when the time comes, walk.
And what's the catcher's name again?
Rutschman.
Or, not him, but the other, Gunnar Henderson, yeah.
Gunnar Henderson. You also have Matt Holliday's son coming up through your ranks. That was, remember, we talked about that earlier this year.
We did.
About, could we see a rookie be on a playoff roster? This team is going to be good. They're probably a few moves away, both bullpen-wise, starting rotation-wise, and filling in a couple pieces here and there. They'll be back, but I really think that when it came down to the Orioles, it was the difference in managing, because the Guardians last year, as the youngest team in baseball, got in, won the wild card round, and took the Yankees to Game 5. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because you had a Hall of Fame manager there who has 2 World Series wins, who has been in the playoffs almost every single year he's been a manager, and could help guide those guys where Hyde, for the most part, couldn't. Mm-hmm. And it's not knocking Hyde. But the Orioles will be fine. But Texas, they're hot.
Yeah.
Right? Just get in is the goal. And now Scherzer may be back. That's what
possibly.
Possibly. It's not for certain, not set in stone, so I don't want to put that out there. But what I would do to see a Scherzer versus Verlander matchup, and then just to know all the Mets fans are crying somewhere right now because their team sucked, and they traded both those guys that were supposed to help them in the World Series this year. I'd love to see the TV ratings. Do you think people in New York are watching or not?
Well, the Knicks are about to start up here soon. Hockey's back in action. Football is not very good. It could go either way. It can go either way. We mentioned, by the way, I wanted to mention that this is the first time that 200-plus win teams have been swept out of the division series in 1 year. The Dodgers and the Orioles, which is something.
Yeah.
And the Orioles, I think they'll still be a competitive team. I just wonder if they might have missed an opportunity with the Yankees and Red Sox not in it this year, because they can obviously spend in an offseason to get their team back on track. Whereas Baltimore, someone mentioned on Twitter mentioned the Albert Bell contract earlier this week, and what was it? I don't know if it was like a fully guaranteed deal, but it was so much money that it burned the Angelos family apparently from ever wanting to sign long-term talent ever again. Yeah. Well, I mean, which they did with Chris Davis, but that also flamed it out. So that's neither here nor there. But yeah, we're hoping that the Orioles can do some good in the future, because that's a team that's been out for a while and they deserve it. They're
a fun team too.
Sure, fun. Yeah, fun team. But it's good to see a team like Texas in it this year. Bruce Bochy, if he could lead his 3rd World Series team ever, like his 3rd team to a World Series. He really might. I know he was one of the all-time managers in Hall of Fame bound. He really might be one of the all-timers. It really is surprising to see how he's skyrocketed as a manager. I mean, even for the last 15 years.
What's really bizarre is every year he was with the Giants, they won the World Series. It was an even year. It's an odd number year now.
Yes.
So it's like
which is what made the Cubs run in 2016 more interesting, because when the Giants were up in the 9th inning of that game And I thought, oh, here we go. And then Cubs came back and won that division series game. But enough about baseball.